Good evening, everyone. Today's Tuesday, August 12th, 2025. I will call this City Council meeting of North Liberty to order. Tracy, could we have roll call, please?
Leibold.
Here.
Park.
Here.
Sittig.
Here.
Smith. Wason.
Here. Thank you. Item 3 is approval of the agenda. No changes on there. Could I have a motion for approval, please?
So moved. Second.
By Sittig, seconded by Park. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda is approved. Item 4 is our consent agenda. Other great things on there, construction projects abound. Could I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, please?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Wason, seconded by Leibold. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda carries. Item 5 is our public comment time. Now it's time for anyone in the audience wishing to address council with any questions or concerns that are not otherwise already laid out in the agenda for public comment. I'll open the public comment period. Seeing none, I'll close the public comment and move to item 6, Josiah, which is the engineer's report.
Thanks, Mayor. Here's the rundown. No projects out to bid right now. Couple items on projects in design phase. We're working on Forever Green Road extension, phase 1 of that project. Mentioned a couple months back that this is a joint project between North Liberty and Corville with an earmark grant. Phase 1 is to extend Forever Green Road a little bit off the roundabout by North Central on the west end of that corridor, and over on the east end, the new roundabout on North Liberty Road or 12th Avenue. South of the high school, there's a new roundabout, bringing the road off that roundabout a little bit. So phase 1 brings each road in a short distance in order to use the first earmark grant. Corville is the lead agency on this first phase because they're the agency that received the funding. So we're working with Corville, but we are working on plans for both of those roads on phase 1. That's planned to be bid through the Iowa DOT early next year. Couple construction phase items, Penn Street and 380 interchange. The 2 north side ramps are still closed, obviously, but the latest update from the contractor today is that they're getting closer and it's weather dependent, but they do hope to have both of those ramps reopened sometime next month in September. So they'll be done with the reconstruction of those 2. Open those back up, get rid of the temporary paving situation, and then the ramps would remain open through the winter until next year when they do the other 2. So that's getting closer. In town here, Freedom Park Trail, that is nearly complete. We're tentatively planning a walkthrough at the end of this week for that one. That's went well. We had a south side of North Liberty fiber project earlier this year. Phase 1 is complete of that, and they're into phase 2 and 3. North Liberty Road Trail. I assume most of you have driven by that at one point or another. Right now, the mainline trail is about 2/3 paved. The remaining third is graded and prepped, but we're waiting for the contractor to get out there and pave that. Particularly at the dog park, the median has been paved for the crossing. A lot of the electrical work, the underground work is done. But the substantial completion date for that project is still August 20th. And I think we talked about this even last meeting. I don't think they'll hit that date at the moment, but they're aware of it and they know that we're on them to get things moving. So that's where we stand right now. And last but not least, phase 1 of the Centennial Center. It's still a busy site. A lot of light fixtures, metal panel installation inside the building, putting paint on the walls, things like that. Doing a lot of site paving for curbs, sidewalks, access drives. So that's got a substantial completion date of September 27th for the Centennial Center. And that's it, aside from questions.
Any questions for Josiah?
Josiah, remind us, are there penalties in the North Liberty Trail contract?
There's liquidated damages. That was a DOT bid project. They had that set at $1,000 a day currently.
More of a comment. I drive that road by the dog park every day, and I was kind of curious how that was going to play out as far as, safety and being able to see it. But with the lines that are on there and kind of how it's showing up, I feel like it's going to be plenty obvious that that's potentially going to cross there. And that's without any kind of signage.
Signage or signals. Yeah.
Just happy to see that.
I shared that same thing standing out there before this, design. And I've been out there now with the paint markings and seeing everything, and it feels good.
I know it's probably hard to predict, but on the Penn Street, the way they shut the both north, well, that north side of the interstate down, we can't predict whether they're going to do that on the south side too.
Whether they'll be at the same time,
Right.
I wouldn't at this point. Yeah. As much as that's kind of changed throughout the phase, I'm not sure.
Any other questions? Awesome. Thank you. Ryan, I'll move on to City Administrator report.
Okay, thanks, and good evening, everyone. I just want to point out one document that was in the packet and the additional information, and it was just, it looks a little bit like this. It's towards the end. It's our major capital projects and our goals progress report. You might recall back in, it was, I think, April of 2024, we got together and had a work session and developed some goals. And I haven't been real good about getting updates out to you folks, at least formally. And so I wanted to put something together, and we're going to keep up on this now and get this to you on a quarterly time period. And I would just point out there are 18 different either projects or goals listed in here. And I think we're making good progress on most of them. You will notice, I think there's 3 of them in here that are at 0% yet, and we anticipate making some significant movement on all 3 of those before the end of the year. So look for another report in a few months, but certainly if you have questions in the meantime or want to talk about any of these projects in the meantime, let me know. That's what I have tonight, Mayor, unless there are any other questions.
I don't have any. Welcome back. Any questions for Ryan? Okay. Move on to Mayor's report, and just a couple of things. Been rather quiet the last 3 weeks, although last week or maybe the week before, I sat with Tracy and Stacy, who handle water billing and trash calls, and we met with LRS face-to-face to get an update from them. Things are better. Things are still not where we want them to be. So we've made some suggestions, and they've offered some ways that they can improve on that. So communication is key in all of this, and that was I think our biggest point to them, and hopefully they continue to make those improvements. I had an opportunity to attend Tom Palmer's retirement party last week, 2 weeks ago. These 3 weeks have been kind of blended together. Tom's done a lot for this city, done a lot for this community, had a lot of knowledge on everything that we walk around on, drive on, live in, eat in here in North Liberty for, was it 25 years, 24 years here and 7 years down in Washington, I think. So we lost a lot of knowledge there. So Russ, you've got some shoes to fill there, but we'll miss him greatly as a result of that. And I know that the last meeting, very at the end, I acknowledged a former city councilor member that had passed away just a couple of days ago. Jerry Keel had passed away about 3 weeks ago. And I was kind of soft about it because it was still kind of fresh for me. So it was at his funeral service a couple of weeks ago. And for a few minutes, we had all of the council members that were there, a long time ago. So Jerry served as a city councilor from 2005 until 2014. So in that 2007 until about 2014 range, all of us were there. So just wanted to publicly thank Jerry for his service, his family, and for the time that he gave to this city. Other than that, I don't have anything else to report, and I'll turn it over to you guys for any council reports on things the last few weeks that you've been a part of in our community on our behalf.
Well, the only thing that I would report is the building that emergency management is planning on building in Tiffin. has been delayed due to some concerns about the appearance of the building. So working through that. So we're not sure when that's going to.
I attended the Community Foundation happy hour, was it last week or the week before, at Field Day. Field Day has partnered with them to brew a special beer to raise money for Centennial Park. So check that out.
It's a nice update.
I was able to help shoot a promo video for the upcoming 35th anniversary of the Community Leadership Program, of which I found out that the Community Foundation was a brainchild from one of those cohorts, which is awesome. And I would just highly recommend any, organizations and businesses that want to get their, people involved. That's a really high-speed program, and you get to learn a lot about leadership. And so I just give them a quick plug. And also I met with our local architect, Andrew Ballard, with Studio One, right over there. And he is working on the Cherry Street investment districts that Greater IC's been working on, and had some, models and some really, really cool ideas for what could potentially happen in this area in the future. So that was really exciting. There'll be more to come on that. So that's what I have.
Awesome. Thanks,
Thank you.
Paul.
It's from my seat, it's just good to be back. Nice to see everybody and thank you. So
Yeah.
I was out as well.
Thank you all. We'll move on to item number 10, which is Liberty Commons Part 2 preliminary subdivision plat. And item A is Staff and Planning Commission recommendations. Russ.
Thank you, Mayor. This is just a one-lot subdivision. Also has private and public infrastructure. Free reign lane on the east side would be extended to the south end of the project. The subject property is highlighted in blue. The area in green is an area yet to be annexed, although the city council approved the annexation. Now it's making its way through the state, so just a formality, we believe, at this point. Zoning is C3, which is our higher intensity commercial district. Some members may recall that in 2022, when the rezoning occurred, some of the residents had concerns about compatibility, so there was a condition in the zoning ordinance itself that if there were additional building height above 35 feet, that there would be additional setbacks. So we feel that that resolves some of those compatibility concerns. Zoning is consistent with the land use. And here is a depiction of the subdivision plat, and again, the one large lot and the road on the east side. Interestingly, we kind of have an agreed to line. It's the very southern line you can see on that map going east-west. That's an agreed to line with the city of Coralville, where we said city of North Liberty, properties north of that line go to the city of North Liberty, and properties to the south of that go to the city of Coralville. So we've respected that boundary, and so is Coralville. So we're just continuing to be good partners in our community. There are no objections to this request, and there were 2 findings, and the Planning Commission accepted both of those findings and forwards the request to the City Council with a recommendation for approval, and staff recommends approval as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Russ. Are there any questions for Russ? No. I'll move on to item B, which is applicant presentation. Is there a presentation?
Good evening, John Martin with MMS Consultants. No formal presentation. Again, we worked with staff, as Russ said, to ensure that we were meeting all of their expectations, the requirements for the preliminary plat. It's just to provide that one lot, the extension of free reign. Eventually, there would be another lot on the east side on that annexed ground, but that's not able to be platted at this time. I'm available for any questions if you have any.
Thanks, John. Any questions for John? Thank you.
Thank you.
Item C is resolution number 2025-92. This is a resolution approving the preliminary subdivision plat for Liberty Commons Part 2, North Liberty, Iowa. Could I have a motion for consideration, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Wason, seconded by Sittig. Are there any questions? Tracy, could I have roll call, please?
Park,
Aye.
Wason,
Aye.
Leibold,
Aye.
Sittig.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. Item 11 is Urban Central District Part 1, Lot 1 preliminary site plan, and item A is also staff and planning commission recommendations. Russ.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is a preliminary site plan. This would be a 4-story multi-unit residence and related infrastructure. The overall shape there is 1.93 acres. This is a piece of property that's been vacant for quite some time, and it's been incorporated into the Urban Central District property. You can see on the left is a zoning map. The property is currently zoned CU-C3, which is that newer district that was created. And on the east side, most of the property is urban high intensity with the Muddy Creek corridor being parks and open space. So zonings are consistent with the land use. Here is a depiction of the building on the site. Again, it's a 4-story building, 63 units. Cherry Court would be relocated over to the east side. And the main building would be pushed back. We did talk early on about pushing the building up a little bit more towards Cherry Street, having a little bit more of an impact along that corridor, but there's just a lot of utilities coming through there, and it just really wasn't feasible. On the outlot A that you see on the east side is that Muddy Creek corridor that would be dedicated to the city for park space. That'll come forward with the plat. But overall, pretty good development. I think they're looking to develop this on the east side, but we know we've got a lot of work to do on that. But just to give you some idea of initial things that we've looked at, it's kind of interesting because the grade drops on one side, and they would use that grade drop for the entrance to the underground parking. So this is part surface parking, part underground parking, but nice looking building. So they met all of our requirements. And again, it's nice to see the first development of the Urban Central District happening so quickly. No objections to this request. And there was one finding, and the Planning Commission accepted that listed finding and forwards a request to the City Council with a recommendation for approval. And staff recommends approval as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Russ. Any questions?
At the top of that, where there's the triangle that has some trees and stuff in it, there is a row, and I was just curious what those were. On the depiction there, it's the little black circles that go all the way across.
So it's right at the bottom of the triangle.
Oh, those are hedges.
Hedges.
Just a hedgerow.
Okay.
Yeah. And the idea is just with service parking there, just and we require hedgerows just to block the lights from automobiles.
Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions? We'll move on to item B, which is applicant presentation.
I apologize. Grant reminded me there was a condition at Planning Commission about the addition of 14 parking spaces. That was an omission during review of the site plan. That has been added to the site plan, so it's depicted. That's why it just didn't ring a bell for me on the east side of that Cherry Court parking area. So the Planning Commission did recommend approval subject to that condition, but those conditions have been met. But that condition will make it forward into the resolution. Sorry about that, and thank you, Grant.
It's all right. Yeah, thank you, guys. All right, John.
Russ stole my thunder a little bit there. So we did add the parking that he mentioned to meet that request that came out of the P&Z Commission meeting. And again, this is the first building in the Urban Central District. We also have you'll see on the south side of the property, there's the beginning of the public trail that's planned to connect from the existing trail along Muddy Creek all the way to the west through the property, through the rest of the contemplated design that you all saw during the zoning process to provide that pedestrian corridor through the property. And I'm available for any questions if you have any.
Paul, you got one brewing, it looks like.
No, just more comments. I love the way the building looks. I think it's modern, and I think it's kind of, I really do like that. And, also just where that first building is going to go in, as opposed to, where construction could have started. I I like that also, just as a side note. But yeah, it's exciting stuff.
Is it fair to say, John, that that building is going to be representative of those others that are contemplated on the east side of Muddy Creek? Scott's nodding his head. That's what I thought.
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
And
Will they
I'm
look
glad he's
exactly
nodding
alike?
behind me.
Yeah. Will they look exactly alike, or will there be any variation?
I
that
think
you might see?
generally they're going to be the same. There may be some variation just due to the size of some of those other units on the east side. Again, that's currently going through. We've had the good neighbor meeting for the
Right.
east side, so there's continued to be conversations about that side.
Okay. Then I assume the construction of the parking lot and the driveway for this new building is step one, so that those residents in Cherry Court there can make their way out safely. Is it going to be able to be constructed without interruption to them being able to access their homes?
So we're working on the construction plans now to submit to the city. That's certainly one of the things we'll be mindful of during that process, is coordinating construction of that new road, allowing that existing road to remain open so that they can have access as best as possible.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions for John?
Do you happen to know the size of the units? Are they mixed, like some 1s and 2s and 3 bedrooms, or?
I believe it is a mix of 1 and 2 bedrooms.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item C is resolution number 2025-93, a resolution approving the preliminary site plan for Urban Central District, Part 1, Lot 1, North Liberty, Iowa. Could I have a motion for consideration, please?
So moved.
Second.
By Park, seconded by Leibold. Are there any further questions? Tracy, could I have a roll call, please?
Leibold,
Aye.
Wason,
Aye.
Sittig,
Aye.
Park.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. Item 12 is North Liberty Community Pantry SMF agreement, and this is resolution number 2025-94, a resolution approving the stormwater management facilities maintenance agreement and easement between the City of North Liberty and North Liberty Community Pantry. Could I have a motion for consideration, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Wason, seconded by Leibold. Are there any questions?
No question. I just want to mention that I'm not on the pantry board any longer, so I don't have a general duty to them, but I did work on this for them, so I'm abstaining from this vote.
Thank you for letting us know. Any other abstentions or questions? Okay. Tracy, could I have a roll call, please?
Park,
Aye.
Wason,
Aye.
Leibold,
Aye.
Sittig.
I abstain.
Motion carries 3-0 with one abstention.
What was the financial reasons, right?
Due to a conflict of
Yeah,
interest.
3-0 then. There you go.
Item 13 is Forever Green Estates Part 2 Developers Agreement and SMF Agreement. This is resolution number 2025-95, a resolution approving the Developers Agreement and Stormwater Management Facilities Agreement for Forever Green Estates Part 2 Subdivision, North Liberty, Iowa. Could I have the motion for consideration, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Sittig, seconded by Park. Any questions?
I just have a quick question. Where does all that water go? There's a lot of water there the last couple of days. Is it going down into the creek and then all the way down to the pond, or?
For Forever Green Estates?
Forever Green Estate.
Yeah.
Well, there's a pond there, and it's all going into the pond. And then there's a ditch that goes east through an existing
Yep.
drainage way. That's the existing outlet. That's where they'll outlet their water.
Okay, so it's either we're pumping, so.
Anything else? Tracy, could we have a roll call, please?
Leibold,
Aye.
Wason,
Aye.
Park,
Aye.
Sittig.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. Item 14 is our FY26 social service applications. Generally, this has taken some time. Staff has worked hard with all of your inputs to make this a little bit easier, a little bit shorter, not easier, and make it more efficient. I am the guilty party for asking staff to put together what our averages were and provide that to you today. So hopefully you had a chance to review that. I thought it was helpful context because when I read through the allocation suggestions, I felt like I wasn't listened to and there were places that money should have gone. So I'm hoping that this at least gets us back in track. And if you felt that way in any way, that maybe that alleviated it a little bit. Councilor Smith had left a specific request that we fund fully 3 of his priorities, which I think are the same as last year. And we're all basically there anyway in agreement with him. So he requested DVIP, Houses into Homes, and North Liberty Pantry be funded to their requested amounts, which I don't think by and large we had a lot of disagreement about. So knowing what we have had for averages, we all put scores together and we all assign an allocation of dollar amounts. We're roughly in the territory of what the allocations could be. However, there's 5 organizations that did not get their applications to us in a timely fashion, and I'm hoping that we can consider them in some way or another. 4 of them have requested funding in the past, and we've funded them. So we've got 1 new one on the chart there. So are there any groups that you want to fully support? And I think I want to start there. I've got a spreadsheet running over here. I know Tracy's going to have the official transcript and backup. Maybe not. I've got it running here, Tracy, so
Okay.
didn't mean to put you on the spot. So I wanted to start with you guys. I have a few, but mine are small on those that I want to fully fund.
Just backtrack one step, if I could, please,
Yep.
Mayor. The 5 that you mentioned, are those the 5 in the lighter gray, smaller font on the bottom?
Yes.
Okay, thank
So
you.
that was Girls on the Run, Friends of the Senior Center in Iowa City, Iowa Leap, the Safe Families for Children, and Sober Living, correct?
I think just a general comment from my seat. First and foremost, appreciate the efforts from staff to get to this point. When I looked through it, and I mentioned to Ryan during our one-on-one, if I had a jump-off number, was in that 90-95%, which with what I had already submitted. So that effort in and of itself is very much appreciated. And then now we're just talking a little bit of give and take here, as opposed to having the larger. So
Yeah.
that effort, I think, goes a long way. And then we're intentional with our social service dollars or allotments. So I appreciate that.
Do you have any, I'm going to put you on the spot, Brian, just so we can be as efficient. Do you have any groups or organizations that maybe didn't quite hit the mark that you were hoping for, that you...
I've just pulled up my history here. I'm going to take my glasses off and just look at them. 1 second, Mayor.
I can come back to you if
Yeah.
anybody else has any groups or organizations.
When I went and looked at the staff recommendation compared to what I had I had in my, when I had done it, it actually is very similar.
With the council averages or with the staff recommendations?
So with the staff recommendation.
Okay.
So I felt pretty good with the recommendations. If we need to do a little something, if you want to work on the other ones, then we'll have to
Okay.
figure out where to take.
Well, okay. So Paul and Eric, how did you feel about that? Maybe I was in the minority on that.
I felt the same way.
You felt staff recommendations kind of hit your marks?
Yeah, there
Okay.
were. Yeah, it was pretty close. I would say, the Housing Trust Fund of Johnson County to me does important work, and I guess I'm partial to the neighborhood centers also, having served on their board, and past Councilor Rakesha Harrington, knowing all the work she does with that. So I would say those two. Besides, I would share the thought with Councilor Smith about the the pantry and the DVIP.
Yeah.
And houses and homes.
Yeah, just nothing that wasn't aligned from my seat. I agree with Paul's comments there. I think more mine was in the, if we didn't, and I'm not, so if we didn't allot 100% to one organization, maybe that gets another organization started. So it was in the, couple $1,000 space as opposed to multiple tens of thousands of dollars to see if they can get something started. So just as an example, I think in my allotment, I think the the housing trust fund, the request was $22,000, 100. I allotted 20, and then 2,000 could go to somebody else. Those were the little things that was just out of different than the staff recommendation from my seat.
I got you. All right. So I'll run this past you then. There were some groups that were not funded that I thought should have gotten some of this funding, and I'll kind of go through those and get your opinions on these. For the applications that had been turned in, I thought we should have provided some funding to Girl Scouts, and I think I read a note in there that it's not local, but it is very much local. Our kids are in that program, so not providing any funding to that, I thought maybe it was a miss. So
I agreed with that. That was one of those that I had. I think the ask was $5,000. I had allotted 2.
yeah. I just put in what our average was as a council, maybe 1,500 or something like that. But
that means we're going to have to go pull from somebody else.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Your thoughts, you guys, on the Girl Scouts?
Well, I support scouting, but with such a broad area, they just can't say that it's local. Because that's I couldn't quite figure out what they were going to do with it in the area. So if it was for the district, it just seemed like it was too big of an area for us to be funding for something if we're trying to keep it exactly here.
That's an interesting point.
And I just assumed that it would naturally get here in some, maybe not direct way, but indirect way at a minimum. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
Do you know how far that covers? Because I kind of had a similar thought there as far as eastern Iowa and western Illinois.
Yeah, I don't specifically.
To that end, then this is a 2-year deal. Is that something that we could,
Come back to?
not necessarily come back to, but, with the application process, we need a little bit more intentional and not such a broad range for
Yeah.
future applications.
Yeah, I could see that. This feels a little odd not to support the Girl Scouts, if you guys know what I'm talking about. But
I do.
Leave it at 0?
My household supports the Girl Scouts quite a bit, honestly.
Yeah.
Times.
Is there any way to direct funds? Tracy, and maybe I'll go to you from an administrative standpoint. I know as an example, when I donate at work, I'm able to then dictate where my funds go. Is there any way that we can say, hey, you know what, if we do allot $2,000 as an example, we would like those funds directed towards schools here in North Liberty or something along those lines?
It could be included in the agreement, but it's absolutely in the agreement, and that would be something they would report out on in the end. But there's no clawback if it doesn't.
If it doesn't, then yeah, okay.
I mean, it can be a requirement.
Generally, it's probably spread.
It's going to be hard to draw that, with $2,000 to draw that line
Right.
to how many students served within North Liberty.
Generally,
The number is I don't think as much as the process, as I was curious about.
generally, the agreements that we have in order to satisfy the auditors so that we're not just giving away money, specify what the money is for, what it's going to be used for, and it requires an accounting that it was actually spent in that way. Typically, I will take the language of what they're going to use the money for right out of whatever their application is. So that's how it's been done in the past. I will tell you, I haven't looked at the application, so I don't know what
Right.
it would say. If it's just general operation in eastern Iowa, then that's what they asked for the money to be for. You can approve money, or even, potentially to allocate money or set aside, subject to it being directed towards programs in North Liberty. They can choose to sign that agreement or not, right? that will be up to them. It's easier if they're here to talk about it. If we have
Sure.
yeah. And I'm just shooting from the hip here.
That's what I
that
asked
would be
for.
something that would be covered in the agreement, so that there's some assurance that the money is going somewhere and that we have visibility into it. Otherwise, it's just throwing away money potentially, right?
Yeah.
So I hope that's answers your question.
Yeah, that's what I needed. Thank you.
Mayor, it sounds like that might be your top one of the ones.
Well, and they're all small. I mean, this is just a couple of $1,000s, but it's an example of, I think, the groups that were left out, we probably can put some money back into those groups and reallocate it a little bit from those that were designated in that original recommendation. I thought the council averages were probably at least a starting point for how we might allocate those. Not that it's any differently scientific, but at least it represents what we put on paper, put thoughts into, and it kind of blends in an average then of all of our numbers. And if you put all of those in there, without adding these 5 groups that submitted their applications late, that's our $175,000 allocation as well. So our averages allow us to put money in places that we all suggested or were kind of close. And it it replaces all of the conversation that we would have otherwise had about each one of these, because we all did this work, independently.
Yeah.
So, and I think that average represents that work that we've done independently in there.
Can I just make one
Yeah, please.
clarification? And the 5 applications that you're referring to, they didn't submit at all. They're included in here just so you can see the FY25 funding. So the 5.
I misunderstood. Thank
So
you.
my apologies for
I
not
misunderstood.
being a
Oh,
little
so
more clear.
yeah, so then
They've just
off the table.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Mayor, I think generally my allocations were probably a little closer to the averages that we have.
Yeah.
The 2 that I thought were important, Habitat, I realized they had a high dollar ask and they spent a lot of money in very few places. But I think they were something that we should be funding to some extent. The other one was the school district. I thought they should have some money because they are going to be directly affecting kids in North Liberty schools.
Yeah, and I can agree with you on both of those accounts as well. And I'll say again, I thought my allocations were close in our averages. Well, there wasn't a lot of disparity, maybe under $1,000 or so in all of them. So I'd like for us to focus on, if you wouldn't mind, that average allocation, because that represents the work that all 6 of us put into this. And then let's work around that a little bit, because we need to nudge up a few to get to Brent's goals, for example, and some others that maybe we need to come down a little bit to make that happen. Does that sound like a reasonable approach?
I'm in favor of that approach. I think it's going to come down to probably 4 or 5 that we end up funding or not to meet those larger ones.
Yeah.
For me, as an example, the Escucha, Vaz, Iowa, I did not have anything, and then that therefore is going to impact the average.
Yeah.
But if you took that as an example of that 1,000 or that 800 and put that towards the North Liberty Pantry, now you're at that 30.
Yeah, I'm on board with that thought process. That's a good example. Let's just start there, because I've only seen them in the news recently for their work with escorting some folks to check-ins for immigration status. But honestly, I'm not sure if $833 there would
Moves
be
the
better
needle.
used at the pantry, for example.
In addition to that, and there are so many of these that have similar services and duplicative, and I just wonder if this is another example, or if this isn't an example of that. I'm just not that familiar with it. I read through the application just like everybody did, and just thought that from a scoring standpoint, it was one of the lowest that I scored.
Yeah. Does anybody have any thoughts on this one specifically? Then let's just start there.
I want to make clear that I think all of these organizations have merit, and we're having this conversation because we have a pot of money that we have to split up in some way, and it's not necessarily a reflection on what these organizations do or how they do it. It's just a matter of where we see our priorities and how we think we're helping North Liberty the best. So I hope they'll all, regardless of what they get or don't get this year, I hope they'll continue and come back next year and ask.
That's an excellent point. Thank you for reinforcing that. I think we're all on that same page, in agreement that where we want to help everybody. It is both the encouraging and the most difficult part, I think, of our job that we have. So,
Yep. Okay. Unless there's any objection, that's a good example to start with. Maybe we just, the Escuela Mi Voz, let's just make that 0. That frees up some dollars that we can move to some of these other entities that we know are going to have an impact in there. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to run from the top, and we'll need to make some adjustments at the bottom of this. But the 4 Cs, the council average was 4,900. You know, staff, there was. So let me assume that we're going to leave it at the average, unless you have another idea.
and I'm sorry, you're on the Excel
4
spreadsheet,
Cs, yeah.
or on the table from Ryan.
The table from Ryan, the updated one that he sent out this afternoon or late this morning with the averages.
That has the pantry at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going through a alphabetical spreadsheet here according to the original.
The one Ryan sent.
Yeah, I've got that. Yeah, I've got
Yeah.
that pulled up. Thank you.
Well, just look, if I could, just looking at the list of the things that we did not fund, that I thought, and we look like we actually had a fairly good average, was Habitat for Humanity and the school district. And those two looks like had a fairly good average from the elected officials that were not in the recommendation from staff. So if we want to do that, then we should figure out how much we want to do for them, and then maybe subtract from
Where it comes from.
I agree, and I'm on board with both of those average recommendations as well for Habitat for Humanity and the school district.
For me, with the Habitat for Humanity scored fair. The ask was significant, and the dollars that I had, at least to dedicate there, I think just maybe from my seat, it was the first time they asked. I was more interested in. I was more on that like $2,000 to $3,000 as opposed to $5,000 to get them started and see what kind of impact we can have, and then always just kind of reassess after that. I don't, to get to a 5,000 average that's divided by 6. That's significant money when I know mine was at 2.
Yeah.
So I would probably just go with the school district. Our average was 2,000, so I would just say 2,000 for that, and then gives us something to figure out where we got to get something from.
Yeah. I'm okay
then,
with the school district at 2,000.
And then maybe like 3,000 for Habitat for Humanity, at least to start.
I'd be supportive of that. I mean, we're going to have to
Get
pull
5.
from somewhere else, but
Yeah, we will. We'll get there.
yeah.
Paul, Eric, how do you feel about those two?
I'm good with that.
Me too.
Okay.
And one thing that I did not actually allocate money to was the bike library. That frees up a little bit of money if we wanted to. I just didn't see the connection to North Liberty there.
I had a tough time on that one too. That was one I allocated monies to just to kind of give it a shot, but I had a tough time seeing that connection as well.
I'm same boat. I didn't have anything allocated there, so I would be supportive of Eric's thoughts.
Guess I would say too, the Immigrant Welcome Network, kind of neighborhood centers kind of serving sort of the same thing there. That's where I would just lean towards the neighborhood centers in that regard.
Yeah, I don't think we had much support in that one
Yeah.
anyway.
So in that space, that's $25, almost $3,000 right there.
Yeah.
That you could.
Does anybody else have any objection to the library, the bike library, not allocating to that? Okay. Okay. So houses into homes, we'll leave that at 10,000. DVIP, leave that at 14,630. Move the pantry, keep it at their 30. There was one group that all of us had consensus on. The average and staff was table to table. We all agreed on $9,000 for that one. Let's go back to Girl Scouts briefly. What do you think we should do, Brian?
Well, when I put it, I put 0.
You put 0.
But again, just because it was such a large thing, and I didn't see that they were going to do anything differently. But if we wanted to do something, we are over our average to like community crisis services in the free medical clinic a little bit, and then the Iowa aid we're over a little bit. And then the Housing Trust Fund, we're actually a little bit over. So I'm supportive of that, but we also have other stuff in that.
Yeah.
So that's why I just went with their previous year request, just because of we had that other money that we've kind of set aside for that.
Can I ask on the, and Grant and Mayor and Council, if for example, we say we're going to earmark $2,000 for the Girl Scouts of Eastern Iowa and Western Illinois, and we have some language in there that says we want this dedicated to A, B, and C to make sure that it's in North Liberty. And they say, no, we're going to spend it how we want. We can pull that back. Could we then do something to set that off to the side and say, hey, you know what, we've got, 10, 12 schools in North Liberty that we've got $2,000 we could spread amongst those schools, or something along those lines where we know it would still impact Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, whatever the case is. Do we have to have an application specifically, or can we just say, hey, you know what, from the city of North Liberty, here's $2,000, help your programs out, $3,000, whatever the case is.
Yeah, I think a good public policy would be they should apply to qualify for these funds. I mean, that's been the precedent. I think if we start giving out funds to organizations that don't apply,
That's fair.
it's an issue.
Yeah.
But to your point, we could pull that back and either redistribute it to one of these other organizations or save it for next year.
Okay.
A check doesn't go out the door until we have a signed agreement in hand.
Okay. Then back to your question on the Girl Scouts, Mayor, I would be supportive of that $2,000.
Okay. We'll put it in there as a placeholder for right now.
I could see, the Housing Trust Fund, we've done 20 in 2025, and, I could see if you wanted to take 2,000 off that to send it, to somewhere else.
That's the number I was at 20 instead of 22 from the ask. I felt that was consistent with prior years and also is a significant commitment to that overall program.
It's still getting a lot of support.
Yeah, I agree. I'm running these calculations and it looks like we haven't spent everything, but I'll get to it.
I got a good handle on it too.
You do? Okay.
I'm working on it also.
Nice. Good to have backup. So $2,000 for the moment, Girl Scouts. Horizon Meals on Wheels. Our average as a council was, a little over 9. Staff thought 10. 10's probably fine. That was their ask as well. You guys okay with that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's consistent with historical averages as well.
We're leaving Housing Homes at 10. Housing Trust Fund of Johnson County. Did we want to leave that at 20? Or did we want to,
That's what I would.
that's what our average was?
I'd put that as the placeholder now. If we need to revisit that, we can.
Free medical clinic. Council average was just about 10. Staff's was at 12. They asked for 12.
12.
Do 11?
From my seat, I looked at what the ask was in the historical and made a bump to 11 in order to illustrate, the importance of that organization. Continued commitment to it. Just had to fund some other things as
Yeah.
well. So
I like 11 for now too. I think we're going to run, that we're going to have a few extra $1,000 if I've done these calculations correctly in advance here.
yeah,
Iowa legal aid, I'd actually prefer 5,000 on this one, whereas our average was 4, but staff was 5. I don't think it's a lot of money for all the work that they are doing.
I had 5.
Okay.
And while we're doing this, since we've got a couple of different running totals, is there any way we can get a running total up on the screen? Because I'm about 3 screens into myself. It might be helpful for.
I tell you what, I'm only like 6 away from being done. I can get you a total if you don't mind. So
Yeah, no, I just.
yeah, I can't put mine up on the board. Visiting Nurse Association.
What number is this one again?
It was basically $2,500 was both the original recommendation and what our averages came out to was about 24. So I'm leaving that one at 2,500.
Oh, number 18.
18, thank you. This was one that those, no question on the work that's done, but with the ask and the other commitments, I had marked it 0. So I'm sure my average or my 0 is just.
You're the anomaly. Mm-hmm. Okay. For now, we'll leave that at 2,500 then. The neighborhood centers of Johnson County. Paul, you said it well for me as well. I'd like to support this group, and I know the work that Rakesh is doing down there.
Yeah, and I think this is where those difficult decisions, for me, I had 5, and that would have been 2,500 from the Nurses Association. So
Yeah, I gotcha. I think we've got space, Brian, to give that 5,000, and I'm almost done here with these totals. Let's come back to that one. Pantry is at 30. Shelter house. I thought 10,000 on that one. That was our average as a group with the work that we've put in.
it's in line. That's where I was at as well. It's historical over the last 3 or 4 years.
Same.
No doubt on the need.
Okay.
It's just what we can do.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Okay. Table to table is locked in. It was the only one that we walked in the door with, the same. And then Trail of Johnson County and United Action for Youth are the last 2. Trail of Johnson County last year got 2,000. They are only requesting 2,000, and that's what it looks like we all basically averaged out to, except for one who might have suggested $1,500.
Yeah.
So I'm going to recommend $2,000 for that one.
Agree.
Okay. The last one is United Action for Youth. Last year we gave them 5,000. They requested 10. Our averages came out to about $7,600. If we left that at last year's amount of $5,000, if all of my totals are correct in here, that brings us to a grand total of $173,530.
What do you, I'm missing Big Brothers, Big Sisters.
Big Brothers Big Sisters. I gave it $12,000. Thank you for pointing that out. I didn't highlight that one.
And then I don't have community.
Yeah, there's a
We
couple in
decided-
here.
Yeah, I think
Big Brothers, Big Sisters would be first. Community Crisis Services, 4 Cs, and ARC of Southeast Iowa.
All right, they're all on the top part of here. So Big Brothers Big Sisters, our average was just over 12,000. And their ask was 13.5. We gave them 13 last year. We bump it to 13.
I had 13. I had 13.5. I had the full ask. No doubt the work that they do.
Paul? What did you have?
Yeah, I just, if we had to shave a little off, matching the 13, I know they need funds and I know they do great work. So
Yeah.
I would like to see, 13.5. But if we had to,
I could get behind 13 if that's kind of where
Yeah,
We're
I'm
at.
okay with
That's where I
13
was
as
at.
well. Okay.
And you can add that to UAY.
Yeah, maybe.
Community
Community?
crisis.
Yeah, community.
community crisis services.
They were awarded 15 last year, requested 16 and a half this year. Our averages worked out to be just under 14,000. So if we brought that to maybe 13,000 or 14,000.
We have historically increased, and so from my seat, I just kept them at the 15, but if it works to support others and maybe drop that down to 14, I can be supportive of that.
Or a little, or maybe like 15, just because that's actually, of any of them, that's actually one of the easiest ones for us to track. Because they can just say, I gave this person in North Liberty this to help with rent or,
That's true.
something.
That's true.
I mean, that's a direct, here you go, here you go.
I'd agree with 15 on.
15
Yeah.
for community. Okay. We're going to start shaving over the
So you got 4 Cs next.
4
I
Cs.
got.
They were awarded 5. They requested 6. Our council average was just under 5.
I had them at 5.
I had them at 5 as well.
Be good with 5.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to.
We're gonna have to, yeah,
a few changes.
that's okay. Let's get within
We'll
the,
get that. And then the ARC was the last one that we need a dollar amount on. Is that right? The ARC of Eastern Iowa. They weren't awarded anything last year. They asked for 4,000. I think this is a program that we need to support.
I had them at 2.
I had them at 2 as well.
I could probably get behind 2.
Yep.
You okay with that? Okay. All right, so now, do you have all the numbers filled in?
I have all the numbers. Just to clarify, the Bike Library, Immigrant Welcome Network, and Escucha Mi Voz are all zeroed out, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And I think our total then, Tracy, is 176, 130?
Correct.
Okay, so we're $1,130 away.
Is that with neighborhood centers getting 5 or 25?
5,000.
We could,
Should we bump that down to 4,000?
Yeah, that's probably where I would.
Where's that $130 sitting?
It's DVIP,
DVIP.
$630, and the $500
Let's just do 14. I mean, let's
About
For-
down to
14,
500.
5
Yep.
to DVIP. Okay. I think Brent will give us permission on that one.
176.
Yep. 175,
Oh,
right?
No,
If we
176.
take 1,000 from.
If we take 1,000, if we take
Oh, I'm sorry.
and we're
where'd you take
taking 1,000
neighborhood
from
centers of
neighborhood
Johnson
centers.
County.
Okay.
Make that
average
4,000.
was 4, so.
And yes, you were there.
Yes, that's 175.
Okay.
So which ones were zeros again?
Iowa City Bike Library, Immigrant Welcome Network, and Escucha Mi Voz.
Oh, looking at the table, they're the 3 across the bottom. Thank you.
Tracy, do you want to list them or do you want me to go through them?
I can sure try.
Sure.
North Liberty Pantry, 30,000. DVIP, 14,500. Big Brothers Big Sisters, 13,000. Horizons, 10,000. Houses into Homes, 10,000. Table to Table, 9,000. Community crisis, I lost my place, 15,000. Iowa Legal Aid, 5,000. 4Cs, 5,000. Free Medical Clinic, 11,000. Visiting nurses, 2,500. Neighborhood centers, 4,000. Shelter house, 10,000. ARC, 2,000. Housing Trust Fund, 20,000. 5,000 for UAY, 2,000 for Trail, 3,000 for Habitat, 2,000 for the school district, and 2,000 for Girl Scouts.
That's a really nice balance between the council averages and the recommendations.
That's so too.
I like it.
You guys okay with that?
Yep.
Okay. Ryan, I think we succeeded in shortening this period of time at a council meeting.
Good work.
So I'll echo what Brian said in the beginning. I really, really appreciate Angela putting all this time and effort, and you put some time into it, but I know she's the one that coordinated all this for us. So it saved us a lot of time right now. And to all of you for putting that time in over the last several weeks at home to provide these scorings. So do we need anything else on this, or you have what you need now?
We have what we need, and we'll bring back agreements.
Okay. Are you guys all good with that?
Very good.
All right. Thank you. Let's then move on to item 15, which is Murray Elite Development Agreement and TIF Ordinance. Item A is resolution number 2025-96. This is a resolution setting date for public hearing on urban renewal plan amendment for the North Liberty urban renewal area. Could I have a motion for consideration, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Siddick, seconded by Park. Are there any questions about this? Tracy, could we have a roll call, please?
Leibold,
Aye.
Siddig,
Aye.
Wason,
Aye.
Park.
All right.
Motion carries 4-0. Item B is third consideration and adoption of ordinance number 2025-16, and an ordinance providing for the division of taxes levied on taxable property in the July 2025 addition to the North Liberty urban renewal area pursuant to section 403.19 of the Code of Iowa. Could I have a motion for consideration and adoption?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Wason, seconded by Leibold. Any final questions? Leibold, sorry. Okay. Tracy, could we have roll call, please?
Siddig,
Aye.
Park,
All right.
Leibold,
Aye.
Wason.
Aye.
Motion carries. And finally, item 16 is speed zone ordinance. This is our second consideration of ordinance number 2025-17, an ordinance amending chapter 62 of the North Liberty Code of Ordinances to update speed zone, special speed zones. Could I have a motion for consideration?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Wason, seconded by Siddig. Any additional comments? Tracy, roll call, please.
Siddig,
Aye.
Wason,
Aye.
Leibold,
Aye.
Park.
All right.
Motion carries 4-0. Is there any old business? New business? Yes, sir.
Just a couple things to remind people about. A couple Friday activities coming up in the city, so please look at the website. We have, I think Friday is Ferris Bueller, and then in 2 weeks would be the dance out here right here by City Hall.
We know where we'll find you the next few nights then. Is there anything else? Could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you all very much.